Okay, hello Guild Wars 2 gamers, Mukluk here, and today Guild Wars 2 on their main channels did a 50-minute broadcast called Raid Systems Update Preview. We are going to watch it and we'll talk about it, and I'm going to point out anything I think is relevant. At the end, I will do my usual thing. I will make a TLDR timestamp where I try to cover everything in as short a time as possible for anyone who just wants to skip to the end and just hear that portion. But if you want the full details, just watch the friggin' video. All right, so since we're watching this later, we of course get to skip the first 10 minutes where they were just doing the starting soon thing. Immediately, we see Giant Crab, which we met in the story, who a lot of speculation that this is probably going to be the new raid boss, because we do already know that there is a new raid encounter coming out in the next update very soon. Okay, let's get to it.
Hello, and
Yo! Right away. That's Darkbringer. Darkbringer, I met when I went to Seattle. He works on the UI team. I actually talked to him when I was out there about the Troubadour notes. This was right after the Troubadour beta when the notes looked really confusing. I don't know if I had any impact on them changing that, but I did talk to him about it. He visits us in Twitch chat all the time. He's awesome. He's very nice.
To the Guild Wars 2 stream, where today we're going to be talking about raids and all things raids related coming in the QR1 update on February 3rd. My name is Roy Marks. I'm a competitive and rewards designer, and today I am joined by Timothy Reynolds, UI engineer. Tim, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks. So we did release a blog post yesterday, which kind of went over, most of what we're going to be talking about today. We're obviously going to be going a little bit more in depth on today, but we are going to be talking about the Raid Strike merge that's happening. We're going to be talking about the UI updates, leaderboards that are coming with that UI update, the rewards.
They got like a weird background hum. Like the microphone is a few feet away from an air purifier or something.
Update we're going to be doing for raids. We're also going to be talking about Raid Quick Play, which if you saw the Fractal Quick Play feature that we released last fall, you will be pretty familiar with what it is, but we're going to be touching upon that as well. So really quickly, before we actually dive in to take a look at the UI, we're just going to kind of explain what exactly the Raid Strike Merge is. Simply put, it is essentially just renaming strike missions to raid encounters. There's a little bit more involved with that, and a lot of that is going to come down to kind of the reward updates that we're going to be talking about a little bit later, but it's also going to be condensing all of those encounters into one sort of singular game-type content, and that's where we kind of start looking at the UI and having that merge come in. So I think we can actually start getting into...
All right, hold on, quick pause. So for any new players to Guild Wars 2, historically, raids are 10-man content. We don't have any like 25-man raids. We've got some, larger group content, like 50-man content for things like Dragonstorm or Twisted Marionette, which are instanced but very large scale. And then there's of course world metas that are massive. But raids are 10-man instance content. Strikes were also 10-man instance content. So what was the difference between them? Strikes were a bit easier. Strikes originally came out and were intended to be a stepping stone for raids. So you do strikes and you're like, oh, these aren't so bad, and then maybe you go into raids. Because there's a lot of people that are nervous about trying raids for the first time. However, it honestly led to confusion. This is something Guild Wars 2 has done before. For example, there's dungeons, there's fractals, there's dragon response missions. All of those are 5-man instance content. You could wrap all of those under one umbrella. Maybe they will someday. But right now, basically, they're taking the 10-man instance content that is strikes and the 10-man instance content that is raids, and they're putting them into the same group finder, which means I have to go rename like 50 videos.
To the game and taking a look at that new UI. That's going to be showing off all those encounters.
Yeah, so we're in the aerodrome, and basically we're getting a whole new UI for entering the raids, and basically all the raids, encounters, and wings will be sort of merged into one UI.
It's to his right. He's facing that way on purpose. They showed in the preview that there was a giant red portal on the wall to the right of him that wasn't there before.
By now, and you can enter the old way, all of the portals individually, but you can also enter them together now. So in the aerodrome, we have a fancy new...
So real quick, again, for the noobs, these little portals here right here. There's a total of 8 of them, and each one is a raid wing. It is a wing, so wings 1 through 4 were Heart of Thorns, 5, 6, 7 were Path of Fire, and wing 8 came out with Janthier Wilds. And each one is got like a story to it. You know, it's strike missions is just you go through a portal and you're in a room with the boss, you fight it, that's it, you're done, get out. There's actually like a boss, and then maybe some trash mobs and a boss, and there's like a story event and then a boss, and you know there's 3 or 4 bosses in each of these. But this big red one, this is new.
Pretty big portal.
Yep.
Yeah. Hard to miss.
Yep. Centrally located in the aerodrome now, and then if we fly over to it and we see the new UI,
Nice.
we see it. Yep. Here we go. So we have all the raid wings, and then we have all the encounters all together in one screen. And then like if we hover one, we just have all the information, name, description, a general difficulty overview, if there's any like emboldened going on, and then if you can't.
Quick pause. Embolden is a feature that they use to try to draw new players into raids. Embolden is basically like I don't know the exact number, so I'm going to make some up. Basically, like you go in there and like all the players are 10% stronger or 20% stronger, so the boss is that much easier. It just makes you a bit more powerful. Now, typically, if you go into a raid that has Embolden on, there is a thing you can interact with to turn it off. If you just like you're like, oh no, I don't need the crutches. I don't need the handicap. I'm good. But if it's on and you wish to keep it, it just makes the fight a little bit easier.
Go in because of expansion, because a lot of them are locked behind expansion. It will show that there's an expansion here and not let you enter, but still see all the UI and information about them.
Worth pointing out, Icebrood Saga was not an expansion. It was basically a poorly named Living World Season 5. However, Icebrood Saga was when they made strikes. That's when they came up with the idea. So it has a ton of strike bosses in it, and then there's a few more in later content. End of Dragons and Secrets of the Obscure have a couple each.
Gotcha.
And then it will list out the bosses here and then here for each wing, and then just for the encounters, just the specific boss. And then it will give information on hover tooltip for each of them.
Very cool. And so this also, I think, allows you to select your starting point in the raid.
Exactly. Right? So say I want to start on the second boss.
Right.
I can just click these, and then it will just start on the 4th boss. So
this is really important because, like, for example, when you go into some of these raids, for example, raid wing, I believe it's 3. Yo, I am rusty. The first boss is called Escort, and Escort, a majority of the raiding community don't enjoy it. Escort is this event where there's a few people escorting an NPC. You got to keep her alive, or that's the fail condition, is if she dies, you fail. And there's other people that are fighting / gliding along towers to the side of you, and they're doing a job, you're doing a job. It's a very long scripted event. And at the end of the escort, there is a boss, but you've already been doing this escort for 10 to 15 minutes, so the boss is a major pushover. Like he hardly has any mechanics. So I guarantee you, a majority of people I know that raid will skip escort. Now, on the other hand, it is an almost free LI if you desperately need it, but after this patch, there's going to be easier ways to get LI. So like that's one that just a lot of people just don't care for, but they really enjoy the bosses after that, such as Keep Construct and Zera. So they might just be like, okay, we're just going to skip 1 and go straight to 2, blah, 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 blah.
The easiest way to understand it is, like, say you completed up to Sabbatha for the week.
Right.
Like you completed the 3 bosses, but not Sabbatha. When you enter, previously it would just go to Sabbatha,
right,
up to that unlock. Now that will just be whatever you select instead. So you're not locked to what your currently weekly progression is. You're locked to whatever choice you want to make instead.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Very cool. All right. And I think you mentioned there's some information talking about like masteries and stuff for each of the different raid wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, mastery requirements. Gotcha. And then, yeah, as we can see, we have the whole selection of every single raid wing, and as I mentioned kind of in the beginning of the stream, where we're merging changing strike missions over to raid encounters. We have all of the 8 raid wings, but then also all of the solo raid encounters from the various expansions. We've obviously got Olion's Court, which
Guardian's Glade. Ooh, a little sneak peek. I'm guessing that's where Mr. Krabs is. That's not out yet. He scrolled down really far and then jerked it back up real quick.
Solo raid encounters from the various expansions. We've obviously got Olion's Court, which is going to be the core game raid encounter. We've got the ones for Secrets of the Obscure, Visions of Eternity, Iceberg Saga, End of Dragons, etc. So you can access every single encounter from this one portal, which is really nice. And I believe there's also, does that change the current portals or the current way that you'd enter? So right now on live, each raid wing has its own portal. Does that change how that works?
Each of the portals you can still access individually.
Okay.
It'll basically just show the same UI with all the new information and everything, just not a side panel for all the selection.
So you wouldn't be able to join Wing 8 from the Wing 3 portal.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Is there any reason that you would want to join from one of these singular portals versus the huge, giant new red portal that's in the aerodrome?
Not exactly. We just wanted to retain the functionality for how people got to all the content previously.
That makes sense. Cool. Do you want to show off entering?
Sure.
Okay.
So
big moment
here
where you press enter.
A big moment.
Yeah. So this is Spirit Veil, Wing 1, of course. Most people are going to be familiar.
So it just goes in.
So,
works.
Quick pause. I'm actually curious about this because he picked the first boss. But Spirit Veil, there's 3 trash pulls before the first boss. So is it going to put you before the 3 trash pulls, or is it going to put you right at the boss fight?
Fully fine.
Yep.
You can go anywhere you want. And then, because we picked on the 4th boss, just the portals are.
Right. So you can jump around, and as you mentioned earlier. So like, if you, it's kind of replicating.
Oh, he clicks that. But my bad. I thought he clicked on
Veil Guardian. Up to kind of the end of the raid.
Yeah,
you're able to jump around. It still sends you to the beginning of the raid, but you have those checkpoints unlocked. Gotcha. And so, how would it look if you had joined on the first boss?
So if I join on the first boss, it would have all those portals locked because it would be joining as if you're doing the Spirit Guardian. So.
Okay. So what happens if, let's say, my group and I, we go in, we kill Veil Guardian, first boss of that raid wing, and then we leave. Are we now locked out from joining from that checkpoint, sort of where Veil Guardian is?
No.
Okay.
There will be checkboxes that show here as well for what you've completed for the week, but you can just as easily click the ones that are checkboxed that you've already completed for the week and just go to directly what you want to go to.
So it'll still set up the raid based on whatever you're selecting here, no matter what your progress is.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And that doesn't reset rewards progress, just to be clear, so you're not able to just continually kill Veil Guardian over and over again. But yeah, it is going to allow you to kind of set that up. Yeah. Just to clarify, we did get a question. There's not new masteries, and there's not a mastery check to be getting in. There's just information displayed on the UI that says what masteries are required or useful for that raid. So no new masteries. We're not updating.
So real quick about the masteries, to give an example, the final boss fight of Raid Wing 3, which I mentioned earlier, is Zera, and Zera has ley lines in between platforms floating in the air. You need ley line gliding to get between them. Like, that's how you travel from platform to platform. So for Zera, not having someone with ley line gliding, it's a massive handicap. Like, you really have to babysit them and make portals for them every 5 feet and stuff like that. Like, it's better to just have everyone have ley line gliding for Zera. But then there's some other fights, such as the escort that I mentioned earlier. The people that are doing, the details don't matter, but there's a job that 1 or 2 people need to do, and they need some masteries, but the other people not doing that job don't need it. So it's going to depend on the encounter, but for, I would say, a majority of raid boss fights, no masteries are needed, but there are certainly some that you want some.
Masteries, we're not changing masteries, nothing like that. There's no masteries that the UI is locked behind. It just gives you that information. So
yeah, this information, what was on the previous UI, actually, so all that information stays the same for what it used to show.
Yeah, just to clarify. Good question. All right, and then I think, so something that's pretty useful for this. So right now on live, if you are, I think you want to probably swap maps. If you're trying to get into a raid, everyone has to be in the aerodrome to join, right? So 1 person enters a raid wing, you all get a pop-up to join if you're in the aerodrome, and then join. Is that going to be the same here?
No. Now, so we've edited the tech a little bit so that now wherever you are, it will just get the pop-up to join. So
Really?
say
That's
you're in the
kinda cool.
aerodrome, one person in your squad starts the raid, it will understand that it's in an instance, and wherever you are, just give the pop-up. You don't have to go to the aerodrome anymore. And then, like, if you move maps, it will also pop up, re-pop up if someone in a squad is in an instance.
So as long as one person starts,
That's
the
actually
instance,
really cool. I
everyone
wasn't
else,
expecting
no matter
that.
where they are, will get the pop-up.
Yep.
Gotcha. Cool. And so we can show it here. So I'm going to enter from the aerodrome,
And then-
and yeah, we can see Tim
now
gets
we
the
can see
pop-up.
the pop-up.
He's in this lock. He's
And then I can just join.
somewhere in space.
So, Darkbringer there was in the Mistlock Sanctuary, which is a VIP town pass. And the important thing to note is it's not in Lion's Arch. So, Roy entered a raid, and Dark got the pop-up saying, hey, do you want to join him in the raid? Even though he was in a completely different location. Wasn't expecting them to do that. That's nice.
And yeah, he can join and get in there. And so is the aerodrome the only place that you can enter from for raid wings?
No, there's also, we've edited the text so you can go wherever we want. So, for example, in Mistlock, we're adding a portal, and we're adding a portal to most of the Mistlock any of the passes.
Right.
And then basically any of the hubs or main places, so that you can enter via a whole bunch of different places. That makes sense.
Right, so all the lobbies,
Cool.
like Mistlock, like their Armistice Bastion, they're going to have a lobby portal, essentially.
Raid rally point.
As
Okay. Cool. Okay, hold on a sec. All right, that's pretty neat.
replicating if you were entering from raid.
I will say I'm kind of torn on it. Like, immediately I said that's pretty neat. However, it was kind of cool having the aerodrome be the raid area to get together, you know? Like, whenever people would ask me, like, oh, how do I find raid groups? One of the many suggestions I would give them would be like, oh, talk to people in the aerodrome. That's where people go to get ready for raids. But now they're going to be just scattered all over the place. So, pros and cons.
Yeah.
Gotcha, cool. I don't know if you want to join from there or not. I left, but
Yeah, I can join, I don't know, Bastion.
yeah, very cool. Awesome, yeah. And so I was in the aerodrome and I got the pop up there, which you can't see on screen right now, but you can see me in the instance. So yeah, that gets us into Bastion. So this obviously a pretty big quality life update for just getting in to raids, getting groups together. If you're in the middle of a meta event or something, and players want to start
Checkpoint monkey?
getting together for a raid,
What?
you can finish
Was that a dev thing? Checkpoint monkey.
in the middle of a meta event or something, and players want to start getting together for a raid. You can finish that, not have to go to aerodrome. You can just get the pop up when your teammates enter that raid.
Yeah.
Which is obviously very nice.
For like new players, like they can just join the squad, and the experienced person in the squad can just start it, and
Right.
then they can just join from
Right,
wherever
so
they are.
Don't have to find where the aerodrome is or whatever. Yeah, and obviously, really, really big update to be able to kind of jump around between bosses. And does that work inside of an instance?
So this is technically an instance, Mistlock
Oh, I
is,
mean,
so-
once you're inside of a raid instance.
Yeah, so if I go into an instance, and then say I go to Spirit Vale, we're also adding it so that you can basically continue from an instance into another instance. So I can basically do select new, and I can just see this raid screen from any encounter or wing, so any one you're in, and then it will just have the pop-up, and then I can just, and then yeah, you're in. So now he'll stay in that instance, and I'll basically.
So, yeah, they showed this in their previous video, but basically this would be really cool. So let's say you're in a group and your group has bosses that they really like, right? Let's take the Wing 3 example. There's a lot of people that dislike Escort and they dislike Twisted Castle, but they love Boss 2 and Boss 4. So you could use this tool, go to Boss 2, kill it, and then without even leaving, click on the button down here and say, take me to Boss 4, and just skip Boss 3, and then you're at Zera at that point. So you don't have to load out and load back in. There's only one load screen to go to the next boss.
Go to wherever I want, so say Salvation Pass,
Right.
and it will just start it, and then on his screen he gets a join request. So everybody in the instance gets a join request, everybody outside the instance gets a join request for the new raid.
Right.
But It basically caps out at 2 instances.
Okay.
So the button changes to join the other person, and then your button would change to join mine. So like say I want to go back, it will have the join other to go back, and then everybody merges. Or you can join me with the join other if you say you close the pop-up or something.
Right.
And then if you're in combat, it will not show the pop-ups, so it will just highlight the button as it.
Why don't they do this for Fractals or Dungeons? They might. I mean, this is the first time they've added this tech to the game. They might have just finished building it. I mean, maybe they will in time. I don't know.
As it's doing.
Right.
Like usually at the end of the raid, it does that highlight on the back button, so it will just do that if you're in combat.
Gotcha. Very cool. And so you mentioned capped at 2 instances, so just to be clear, I could not join, let's say, Wing 3. So right now I'm in Wing 1, which is where we originally joined. You're in Wing 2. I can't start a 3rd instance and go to Wing 3. I have to either go to yours or you have to come back to mine.
As soon as like an instance closes, like everybody merges back into one, then you can continue again. But basically, you just don't want it so that you have endless instances, 10 different instances, and it gets super confusing, and you don't know where to go, etc.
Yeah. But this does work for going from, so we saw going from Spirit to Salvation Pass, Wing 1 to Wing 2. It also works for joining instances of raid encounters, right? Solo raid encounters, not just wings, but also ones that are locked behind other expansions, right? So I could go from a Heart of Thorns raid to a Visions of Eternity raid encounter.
Any in this list, so any wings or encounters.
Right. Which is awesome because, again, right now on live, you might have to go to Arborstone, you might have to go to the North, but now you can go, once you're in a raid, you can pretty much go to anything, but also you can join from Aerodrome, you can join any encounter, once the lobby passes, you can join any encounter, and get from there, which again, huge quality of life, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and this basically allows, say you want to go through wings 1 through 8, just like as a squad. You just go wing 1 and then finish wing 1 and then just go to this continue menu. You can go wing 2 and go all the way through them without even leaving the instances at all.
Full clearing on
only 2 raid encounters as mentioned in the roadmap. Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about the upcoming thing.
On Monday reset, just got a lot faster, a lot quicker, a lot easier. Yeah, we love to see it. That's awesome. Very cool.
Here, hold on to show for a question, person in chat. This right here, update 1 is what we're getting soon, which has new raid encounter with challenge mode, and they've already said the challenge mode comes a few weeks after the encounter itself.
Yeah, I mean, great, really great quality of life update. Very excited to see that. I think that's going to be a huge change for the positive for raiding, whether you are an experienced raider or you're just trying to get into raids for the first time. And I think we can start talking about the rewards, unless there's anything else you wanted to discuss with the UI.
I think we're good.
Okay, cool, yeah, so we can start getting into the rewards section of this update a little bit. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is going to be somewhat related to the Raid Strike Merge. So again, Strike Mission is going to be now known as Raid Encounters. And what that means is right now you have currencies for Strike Missions called Profit Shards. All Profit Shards are going to become Magnetite Shards. So anywhere you might have acquired a Profit Shard, that's not going to be a Magnetite Shard on live after this release. Anywhere you might have used Profit Shards for currency, whether you're purchasing Ascended gear, whatever it might be, those currencies are now going to become, or those purchases are going to be for Magnetite Shards. When players log into the game after the release, all of their Profit Shards will be converted to Magnetite Shards 1-to-1. So you'll be getting any Profit Shards you have saved up. You won't be losing those. You'll be getting those turned into Magnetite Shards. This also means that all of the raid encounters are now going to be giving Magnetite Shards as well instead of Profit Shards. And there's a couple things that we've done with this. First of all, that's going to be a lot more Magnetite Shards per week. So we're raising, and I believe we mentioned this in the blog post, but we're raising the weekly cap of Magnetite Shards you can earn to 800 per week, which is a pretty large jump from the current 300, just because you're going to be getting a lot more sources. But also what we've done is we've assigned every raid encounter boss. So all the bosses inside Raid Wings, all of the solo raid encounter bosses, basically a value between 1 and 5 of what kind of we're calling their difficulty or their commitment level. And what we're doing with this is we're standardizing the amount of rewards you're getting. So if you're fighting a boss that is kind of perceived as a lower commitment, you're going to be getting 8 Magnetite Shards. It's the lowest you'll be earning from a boss. If you're fighting a boss that's a lot higher level, like maybe, let's say, Kadim from Wing 6, you'll be getting the maximum amount of Magnetite Shards from an encounter, which is 16. Currently, challenge modes are going to give 10 magnetite shards. That's staying the same. Challenge modes are still giving, any challenge mode is going to give 10 magnetite shards. And you can also get magnetite shards from doing weekly.
He said any challenge mode gives 10. Does he mean 10 in addition to the 8 to 16, do you think? Or does he just mean any challenge mode gives 10? So like keep construct, let's say it's easy and it's 8, and then you turn on challenge mode. I'm thinking you're getting 18, like a 10 plus 8.
Achievements which we're adding with this update. So we do have currently a weekly achievement tracking progress for Raid Wing 8 on live. We're adding weekly achievements to match that with Wings 1 through 7. And again, completing those weekly achievements will give just a little bit extra boost of magnetite shards. There's also an achievement for, and I can show this, completing the... Got a nice...
I'm looking for any secrets.
Little new category here for weekly raids. So weekly raid encounter. So this is every single
Guardian Glade at the bottom.
Solo raid encounter, previously known as strike mission, but we're gonna call it a raid encounter now. And so that'll again give you a nice little chunk and help you kind of track if you're not right at the raid aerodrome. Excuse me, the raid aerodrome to show the new UI. Just help you track what bosses you have killed for that week. There's also a weekly quick play achievement, but we'll get into that when we go over to the quick play section. Legendary insights as well. So right now on live, you are only getting legendary insights from raid wing bosses, as well as challenge modes for strike missions. So when strike missions become raid encounters, we're taking the legendary insights out of the challenge modes for the raid encounters, because you don't get legendary insights from challenge mode raid wing bosses. You just get them from the normal mode. So any normal mode raid boss. So again, that's a boss inside of a raid wing, which is how it is on live. And a raid wing, or excuse me, a raid encounter boss will be giving a legendary insight. So a lot more legendary insights as well from any boss. So again, any boss you kill, as it is on live in normal mode, for raid wings will give a legendary insight, and any boss after this update that you kill for a raid encounter in normal mode will also give a legendary insight. There's some additional legendary insight gains as well from the quick play achievement we're adding. Again, we'll touch upon that a little bit later, as well as since the current alive currently strike missions are daily gated for rewards, we're going to be changing those to weekly gated just to match up with raid wings.
That makes me sad.
But we're also adding a new daily raid bounty category, which will allow you to track down 4 bosses. It's a rotation. Takes bosses from raid wings, takes bosses from raid.
So daily strike rewards are now weekly, but there are now daily raid bounty achievements where 4 bosses will have bonus rewards. That makes me sad. I haven't been doing them lately, but I like daily strikes.
Encounters, and it'll give you basically an additional reward from that boss. So when you kill Doom for the first time on live, you get Doom's coffer. It's the reward with legendary insight, with various rewards from that encounter. You're getting a second one if he's the daily. So when you kill Doom with the raid bounty up, you're getting basically twice the rewards for that boss. So again, there's going to be 4 per day, 4 times 7, 28. So you can get an additional 28 legendary insights each week. That's a lot of legendary insights. And as we mentioned before, that's a lot of magnetite shards that you're going to be getting.
Yep.
And a lot of players have a lot of those currencies saved up. So obviously, if you're new to raids, you haven't been raiding very much, this is probably pretty good news. You can get legendary armor a lot easier, a lot faster, which is really, really cool from raids. We love to see that. But if you've already got your legendary armor, if you have a lot of currency saved up, you've been raiding for a long time, what are you going to do with all these new currencies? Well, first we've added Raid God, which is obviously pretty fun. So this
pretty
is an
big
achievement. Yeah.
Become a raid god.
If you're familiar with Fractal God, it'll be pretty familiar with to you. But this is essentially a pretty big sink and grind achievement. It's not necessarily meant to be gated behind, doing a ton of specific challenges, but it is meant to sort of showcase that you've spent a lot of time raiding, that you've put a lot of effort and time into this content, and that'll sink out a ton of currencies. This is something we want to be definitely considerate of. But we're also adding a weekly merchant. This is going to be pretty similar to the merchant that we added a couple of years ago for World vs. World, which gives weekly purchase options.
So real quick, Fractal God actually puts a buff on your bar. It's not just a title. It also gives you some stat bonuses in Fractals. I'm wondering if Raid God is just a title or if it's going to give you some bonuses for raids.
Again, to help sync up currencies. It'll also give a couple of one-time purchases. You can kind of update your aerodrome if you want. Similar to Eye of the North, we've got options for crafting stations for Mystic Forge, various decorations that are going to be focused around raids. Some people may have noticed we've got infinite utility and metabolic.
Oh, man. A new infinite thing. Even I could actually work for this. Okay, so infinite utility primer and metabolic primer. Real quick for the new bloods, metabolic primer and utility primer, basically if you use those, the next time you use the consumable for your utility buff and your food buff, the buff lasts for like 12 hours instead of 30 minutes. So yeah, you could get like a really expensive food and take the primer and then eat the food and it lasts for a long time. These are like 250 Li and 5k magnetite each.
Primers at the top, which is a pretty cool item. These will cost magnetite shards.
Costs 50 magnetite shards to activate it though.
To use. So this is going to be a constant sink of magnetite shards, and it has a pretty hefty price there. But if you are a player who's been playing for a long time, you have a lot of currency saved up, that is going to be something you can spend.
So this is really just for people who constantly like to raid. Hi? What's up? I'm getting the stink eye.
On. There's other various weekly. So again, these are one-time purchases. We've got various weekly sinks out here as well. Various items that might be helpful for raiders, as well as various currencies and materials. I did see this question yesterday after the blog post was released as well. Right now, you can get 10 Mystic Clovers for raid currencies and 5 Mystic Clovers for strike currencies for profit shards. Because profit shards are going away, what's happening to the Mystic Clovers? We're rolling them in so you can get 15 per week. So you're not losing out on any Mystic Clovers, and I wanted to make sure to call that out because I did see that raised a few times. So you get 15 per week. Nice, fun little addition here as well. You have a once a week chance of potentially getting a pretty rare item for quite a bit of currencies. This is going to be a pretty big sink, but you might get lucky and get a Chak infusion. So that's
get a big infusion.
Wait.
Nice, fun little.
Glorious Raiders cache. Was that 1,000 magnetite and 50 Li for a
Addition here
chest?
as well. You have a once a week chance of potentially getting a pretty rare item.
So I'm seeing a ton of Gen 1 precursors. And then those, I believe, are ascended boxes with random ascended armor in them. That's a frost saw. I don't recognize that at a glance. I think there's more ascended boxes. And then we got a lot of infusions here. Confetti, chalk, those are the left and right eyes from Dragonstorm, and on and on and
on. For quite a bit of currencies, this is going to be a pretty big sink, but you might get lucky and get a Chak infusion. So that's
get a big infusion.
yeah. You might get lucky, or you might get some ascended gear. But either way, that's going to be ways that you're going to be syncing out materials, and this is going to be something that we're going to be keeping an eye on for feedback as well, just like we did with the World vs. World Merchant. And that is going to be most of a couple more achievements actually to talk about. So right now, that a lot of that is going to be kind of the raid strike update. The update for, I'd say, probably like newer players. Obviously, the weekly syncs and the raid god achievement is going to be focused on some veteran players. But we've also got some achievements that we're kind of just filling out spaces. So we added mentor achievements with Wing 8 release with Mount Balrog. We didn't have those for the first 2 wings. Those are for 7 wings, excuse me. Those are going to be added to supplement those wings. We're also making an update to the raid mentor achievements. So those are now going to progress. Obviously, if you have a new player, someone who's never cleared the boss with you before, that'll progress that achievement. But it'll also progress if you're clearing the encounter with someone who has not cleared it for that week. So as I mentioned, we have the new weekly achievements. If you haven't finished that boss for your weekly achievement, you will also progress the mentor achievement for them. That'll just be a way to kind of help encourage people to group up maybe with people they don't normally play with, to obviously increment those achievements, not just from someone who's literally never stepped foot in raids before, just because that might be harder, especially for the first few raid wings. So it should be a nice bit of a quality of life update for those achievements as well. Similarly, we added achievements for, there's right now on live, there's Eternal achievements, which is killing every raid boss without any of your teammates dying on Wings 1 and Wing 8. Added those achievements for Wings 2 through 7, just to add it. And finally, we also added achievements for clearing every raid wing without going into downstate. And that's going to be definitely for our more hardcore players, our more veteran players, maybe interested in chasing after that. And that
Those are the achievements that ruin friendships. I'm sorry. Most of my longtime viewers know I used to be in WoW, and I'm having flashbacks of the Undying and the Immortal achievements in Northrend. Dude, some fights broke out over that. Naxxramas, because the Undying was to do all of Naxxramas 10-man without anybody ever going down, and the Immortal was to do all of Naxxramas was it 20-25-man, whatever the big one was, without anybody going down. So imagine that you've cleared 11 bosses and you're on number 12, and then one DPS pulls aggro and makes themselves go splat, and then just everybody's like, you idiot, because everybody loses out for the week. It's not just them, everybody would get punished for it in that game, to be clear, not this one. I'm just having PTSD flaring up.
And again, so clearing every raid wing without going into downstate, which is, again, thinking probably going to be a little bit
complete all down and out achievements.
More of a challenge for most people. Maybe not everyone's going to be chasing after this, but we wanted to give some rewards or challenges for some of the more veteran and hard.
Now I'm wondering, is that just you, the infallible achievement? Is that just you clear a raid wing? Like if someone in your squad goes downstate, is that just they missed out on the title, not you? Just by the way Guild Wars 2 is coded, I would assume it's just individuals.
Players in the
Hey Brovolone, thank you, appreciate that.
As well.
Is that raid general location just new?
Yes, good call, very good call, yes. So there's a new raid general category here as well, similar to the weekly raid category. This is going to just kind of be achievements that aren't specific to any one raid wing or raid encounter. As we can see, so we got the raid god here, we've got the no downstate achievement like I mentioned, we've got the mentor achievements. This is just tracking all of those, every single raid wing boss, and then the wing 8 achievements there. And then this is the raid quick play weekly achievement, which again we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to the quick play section.
Do we want to go into a boss?
Yes, but before we do that, I do also want...
Someone said Nax had 40-man. Naxxramas in Classic had 40-man. I was referring to Naxxramas in Wrath of the Lich King when they rebooted it, because less than 1% of their player base got to see it.
To one final thing, we did tease this a little bit in the blog post. We've got a couple of new rewards that we're adding to old raid bosses. We wanted to add, this is kind of a little bit of a different style of reward that we're adding to raids, in the sense you can only earn these as rare drops from the challenge mode version of its relative boss. So there's going to be 3 of them. So first off, we've got the Twin Largos Combat Tonics, which is a pretty cool thing. If you get this drop...
Combat Tonics! Oh my god, people are going to be chasing the blue thighs. You could finally play as a Twin Largos, sort of.
Both versions, both the female and the male version of the Combat Tonic, which is pretty fun. We've also got a Demonic Deimos Infusion, which is going to apply the Fractured effect from one of his attacks. Let me turn off my legendary ring. Maybe
I see the legendary ring going on.
Yeah, I think it's because I have an outfit on.
Yeah.
But
I see the legendary ring
going from one of his attacks. Let me turn off my...
Endless Summer. It doesn't say unique. That's actually big news that we did not have. It doesn't say unique. So really quick, for people who don't understand why I'm grinning here. There's 2 legendary rings in the game right this second. One of them's unique. You can't wear 2 of that ring. The other one is not unique. You can wear 2 of that ring. we've been speculating whether or not this one would be unique or not. Now, they could change their mind. This is the dev build, but at the moment, it's not unique, and he's got 2 of them on.
Legendary ring. Maybe
Yeah, I see the legendary ring going
Now,
on.
to be clear, following the rules of the legendary armory, that doesn't mean you can make it once and you can wear it on both hands. You still have to make it twice. But the point is that, like, let's say you really want this legendary rings, and the new one, we don't know how it's obtained, but let's say it's open world, and the old ones are raids or World v World, and you're like, I hate World v World, gift of battle, more like gift of my butt, and you just hate it. You can just get this thing twice, apparently.
Yeah, I think it's because I have an outfit on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see kind of there. Yeah, you see the streak a little bit. That's going to show the fractured effect from that. And then finally, we tease this in the blog post. There's also a new Sky Scale skin for the Doom Sky Scale, which is very cool. It's a pretty fun addition.
We can't
Obviously,
emasculate him any more than
mount, skin that you can get from raids. Pretty excited about this one. I think it looks great. I think the art team absolutely blew it out of the water with this one. The effects team as well. Shouts out to them. And the audio team as well. Actually, they did a really good job with this as well for the audio. Yeah, very excited about these awards.
Are we gonna see you running around on it?
The audio team, now imagining the Doom Sky Scale, like, get off me! This is shameful!
On live?
Probably not. I'm probably not going to be able to get it. I don't know. But, again, these rewards are kind of intended. Good thing to mention as well, you can earn these rewards, or rather you can farm for these rewards. There's no weekly gate on them. There's no daily gate on them. Every single time you kill Twin Largos or Deimos or Doom in the challenge mode, you will have a chance to drop one of those rewards every single time. So, there's no restriction on however many times you want to try to go for it. But yeah, again, slightly different style of reward, or sort of, a different model of reward that we're trying out here with raids. Kind of adding a little bit more of a chase feeling to some of these raid encounters, some of these more iconic raid encounters. Obviously, Doom being one of the most iconic raid bosses that we have. Deimos and Largos as well, I think, being some pretty strong contenders there. So yeah, just trying to see how that goes. But we will be keeping an eye on those rewards, since again they are kind of a new model, a new structure, and see how they work out.
Yeah, give an incentive to do the raids.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely want to try to encourage people to continue to raid throughout the week, not just one and done, finish your weekly raiding at the beginning of the week, and then not really log out, not go into raids again for the rest of the week. And that's where the daily boss bounties comes into play as well. Yeah. So I think that will mostly cover the rewards, except for the quick play stuff, which again we'll get to at the end when we talk about quick play as a whole. And I think we can start taking a look at, again, something that might encourage sort of consistent play throughout the week, especially for some more hardcore players, which is the leaderboards. And
exactly.
We'll get back and talking about those.
So, go back to the selection. So each of the boards, as you can see, there's an icon for challenge mode on each of these. So any that have a challenge mode will get a leaderboard now. And any that are shown on here that have a challenge mode, when I right click, I will just bring up the leaderboard.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep. And then the major thing with the leaderboards now is
some pretty good times there.
Yeah. So it's going to show the top 10 ranks or times.
Okay.
And then any players at those times will get displayed in it. In the
not
tooltip.
Showing the top 10 players.
Yeah, it's showing the top 10 times, and then whenever you hover those times, it will show all the players that got that score.
Every single player?
It will show up to like 10 to 20,
okay.
And then it will have a list.
Okay.
But in general, we're not expecting more than like 1 or 2 squads to get the same time.
Right.
But basically, so like say 10 people are in a squad, they beat a raid on CM, they get posted to the leaderboard, all 10 of them will have the same time, so they'll go on the leaderboard at the same place.
Gotcha.
So like say they get first place with their time, 10 people will go on that board.
Okay.
Or say they get 4th place, and then go back and get a better time that puts them in 1st place.
You know what would be funny? Is this is just for people who like chasing the leaderboards. It'd be really funny if they made it to where, like, if you die on the encounter, your name's not on the list. So anybody that like /GGs out of some mechanic, I hate that. I hate using /GG and killing yourself as a solution for anything. So anyone that /GGs doesn't get their name on the list. just to push them to actually do the mechanics rather than just like letting Billy kill himself in the corner.
They'll swap out of 4th place and go to 1st place. So it's still a player board,
like Samurai
leaderboard. Yeah. It's just you get placed. Everybody in the squad gets placed at the same time.
So if let's say I went into the, I don't know what you're looking at right now. Which boss? Soulless Horror.
Soulless Horror.
Let's say I go into Soulless Horror, and I get the 5th best time with my group. So all the people in that group will be now on the 5th spot. And then let's say I join a different squad, and we get the 3rd, a faster time, and that would bump me up to 3rd. I would now move from the 5th spot on the leaderboard up to the 3rd spot.
Yep, and then everybody that was in your previous squad would stay on 5.
Right. Okay. So it's not locked to just your squad. It's really player specific.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, and you said this is for any encounter that has a challenge mode. Is this only raid wing bosses, or raid encounters as well?
This is all raid wings and encounters.
As long as it has a challenge mode.
Yeah, and then also any with a legendary mode will have its own leaderboard.
Right.
So like if I go
Ura and Ceres.
Yeah, so I go to Aura leaderboard, and then I can switch to the legendary one.
Awesome. So there's actually 2 leaderboards for Ura and Ceres instead of legendary.
Yeah.
One for challenge mode, one for legendary, right?
Yeah.
So if you're specifically going for a legendary mode, that's not going to conflict with your challenge mode times. You could be on both boards, basically. Yeah. That's awesome. Really, really cool. Love to see that.
Yeah, and then if you clear CM or LM, it will show a checkbox on those specific icons too.
Nice. Wow.
And then if you clear
really
normal,
cool.
It will show on normal as well.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think leaderboards are something that, again, will definitely help encourage chasing times and consistently playing throughout the rest of the week. And again, even if maybe you're new to raids, you're not necessarily interested in going after a challenge mode or a leaderboard spot right away, but as you continue to play and get into it, maybe that's something you can go for. But obviously, the more hardcore and veteran players, maybe they want to go for that off the bat. That's really cool. Are we ever going to be resetting these times, or once you get it, is it just kind of permanent?
It's generally going to be a permanent thing, but we do have the ability to reset. So, like, say, like a patch hits, and it's going to really change what times people get.
Right.
Like, or especially make them worse. So,
right.
like it would be much harder to get first place because the raid becomes more difficult.
Right.
We would consider resetting in that point. But in general, it's not going to be like on a timeline or a normal thing.
Right. So we have the ability to reset it, and we can expect that there probably will be some resets in the future, but it's not going to be something like a monthly cadence or even a quarterly cadence. It's when we think it's necessary.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. Anything else with the leaderboards that we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Awesome. Great. I think we can move on in that case, which I believe we will get to the quick play section, kind of the final little bit to talk about there. So quick play, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you're familiar with Fractal quick play, you'll be pretty familiar with kind of how raid quick play is going to be working. There'll be a button on the LFG panel to queue up for that. Unfortunately, we don't have at least 10 people to queue up for, so we're not going to be showing the actual queuing portion of that. But again, if you've done Fractal Quick Play Live, it's going to look the exact same. You click the button to queue up, and it'll give you put you into a queue. You can queue up as a solo player, or you can queue up as a pre-made squad, and that will put you into the queue. It's important to note, if you are queuing up not as a pre-made squad, so you don't have a squad leader, when you get into the instance, because obviously this could be potentially problematic if there's no commander, where maybe it's not so much of an issue in Fractals, where you're using the party system. Every player is going to have essentially the ability to do a lieutenant would, so they can place markers, they can do ready checks. So this will allow squads to be able to organize themselves, even if they're not a pre-made group.
I mentioned this in the last video we did on this topic when they mentioned this. My only concern with this system is trolls. Let's say you've got someone that's like puts down a marker and then someone else just moves that marker. You're like, oh, everybody run to the circle to stay alive, and then someone's moved the circle, so you all die. Or like they're spamming ready checks over and over and over and over and over. So I would hope that, like, if you're not yet in combat, there would be some kind of buffer for that. Like the obvious one would be the option to vote kick someone, which, that can be abused also. So I don't know if there's a better solution, but so I don't have a perfect solution in mind for this, but I feel like that could be an issue. I hope it's not.
Even if they don't have someone as a commander, which obviously is going to be a pretty important function. Additionally, excuse me. Let's see here. I need to get the buff.
Yeah.
Has it disappeared from me for some reason?
I think you.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. So we have, when you get into Raid Quick Play, or one of the maps, you...
All right. Quick Play Morale. Raid Quick Play enabled. While in a Quick Play raid, you gain the following bonus effects. You gain additional combat stats and steal life from enemies as you deal damage. You take significantly reduced damage. This damage reduction is higher while you are at low health. You may resurrect defeated players. Okay. All right. Let's see, 4204. 4204, the Quick Play raid buff. So for Quick Play, they said that you don't pick a role when you queue. So you don't queue as a healer, you don't queue as a DPS. And I even said, I wonder if we're going to get like a really strong regeneration or something to make up for the fact that you're not going to have a healer. And it looks like their answer for that is life stealing. So if you don't have a healer, you've got 10 people that can life steal. And so they heal themselves as long as they're attacking. And remember, Quick Play is not all the bosses. They have selected bosses for the Quick Play. So like you don't have there's like Deimos isn't in Quick Play. So you don't have to worry about, oh, well, how's the hand kiter going to stay alive? Yeah, like you don't have to worry about that. Deimos isn't on the Quick Play list. Stuff like that. I still wonder about the tank role. I don't think any of the things on the Quick Play list required a tank. I'd have to go look at it again, but off the top of my head, I don't remember any.
Will be getting this buff, which gives you a stacking damage reduction based on your health, as well as lifesteal. And also, if you know, you are able to resurrect dead players. So, this is kind of what we felt was going to be helpful.
So real quick, in Fractals, you can resurrect full dead players. Not down, dead. Like, they've been down, and then they went dead after. You can resurrect dead players in Fractals. It, of course, takes forever if you're in combat, but you can. In 10-man content, you typically cannot. So this is going against that rule.
For, obviously, we posted this list in the blog post yesterday, but we have a list of 8 raid encounters that are going to be in Quick Play to start out. Those raid encounters are kind of curated as a list of, they're not the easiest raid encounters in the game, so we didn't include things like Shiver Peaks Pass or Voice and Claw. They're also not the hardest raid encounters in the game, such as like Harvest Temple. And we wanted to have kind of more of a middle ground list of raid encounters to choose.
I don't know. If I'm thinking of all of the... Okay, he said raid encounters, which is the new name for strikes. If I'm thinking of all the strikes on the normal difficulties, and I'm thinking, what's the hardest one on normal difficulty? I really want to stress that. Harvest Temple, maybe. Old Lion's Court, maybe. Bone Skinner is certainly it for Icebrood Saga. Harvest Temple would be it for like End of Dragons. And it's funny because like Bone Skinner and Old Lion's Court are on the list.
Room for Quick Play. And this buff we feel is going to be able to help players who haven't experienced those encounters before, or maybe just haven't experienced raiding in general very often. People who haven't raided before and they want to try it out. This will make it a lot easier for you to survive. Any mechanics, heal yourself up. Obviously, we want to allow this to work and function, the system, even if you don't have a dedicated healer in the group. And so, we did see a question in the chat about role selector. There isn't going to be a role selector here. So again, this kind of alleviates the pressure to have a dedicated healer, dedicated role there in Quick Play. And then again, if you do end up dying because you're not used to the mechanics, you haven't seen the damaging mechanics from the boss before, your teammates, will allow you to resurrect, hand res each other, and continue to get through that encounter. In terms of rewards for Quick Play, as I mentioned before, we're kind of standardizing the magnetite shard values across the board for every encounter. So if a raid encounter normal mode, so let's say Bone Skinner. Let's say Bone Skinner gives you 10 magnetite shards if you're doing it normally. In Quick Play, you're going to get 50% of those rewards. So you're going to be getting 5 magnetite shards. Additionally, as I mentioned before, there's going to be 2 new achievements for Quick Play.
Hold on, I'm going to be honest.
One is going to be a permanent achievement.
He was like white noise there, and he just like was putting me to sleep. I got to back up.
Hand res each other and continue to get through that encounter. In terms of rewards for Quick Play, as I mentioned before, we're kind of standardizing the magnetite shard values across the board for every encounter. So if a raid encounter normal mode, so let's say Bone Skinner gives you 10 magnetite shards if you're doing it normally. In Quick Play, you're going to get 50% of those rewards. So you're going to be getting 5 magnetite shards. Additionally, as I mentioned before, there's going to be 2 new achievements for quick play. One is going to be a permanent achievement, a one-time permanent achievement that comes out with the release for primarily for getting relics. But then the other one is going to be a weekly achievement. So for throughout the week, you can do up to 10. I mean, you obviously continue to do more than 10 quick play, but for this achievement, it maxes out at 10. For the first 4 tiers, you're getting a quick play cache, which is a new reward, and this kind of contains items across the board from every encounter that is included in quick play. So you get a mix of rewards from those encounters. And then the 5th tier and the 10th tier are going to give you 3 legendary insights. So if you complete this achievement every week, as I mentioned earlier, you're getting an additional 6 legendary insights each week. We did want to allow players who are maybe, again, new to raiding, haven't raided before, only really interested in doing quick play, maybe to start out. We wanted to give them ways to earn those raid currencies, earn the magnetite shards, earn the legendary insights if you're only sticking to quick play. Just obviously it is intended to be kind of a stepping stone, a gateway into potentially raiding later on, but we don't want to prevent you from earning those currencies. So if you are chasing that legendary gear, you're only interested in doing quick play, you can still get it. It'll obviously be much slower, but you are going to be able to get legendary insights and magnetite shards. And obviously,
I just noticed both devs are on Guardians. All devs are Guardians. What do you mean?
if you are a player who does all of the raids and you do 10 quick plays per week, you'll just be getting some extra rewards. And then the other achievement that I mentioned is going to be the raid quick play frequenter. This is going to be the primary way to earn the 6 new relics that are coming with the QR1 release. This is not the only way, so if you are not interested in doing raids at all, but you really want these relics, you can still purchase them from VOE map vendors in maps, the VOE maps that launched with Expansion 6. And they'll be a little bit of a higher cost the first time you buy them than a normal relic, just because that's kind of how you're unlocking it. You can also unlock it through the PvP and World vs. World reward tracks as normal. But if you want to do quick play, every 3 quick plays you do, you get one of these caches or containers. It gives you a relic. If you already have that relic, you're not going to have the option to pick it. It's not going to, there's not a trap there where you're picking the same relic twice. And if you have all the relics unlocked, you just get extra magnetite shards. So,
Hey, Noxxi.
You're referring to unlocking for the legendaries, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly right. Good call. So that is going to be mostly it for the quick play rewards and also kind of how the quick play system works. It's important to note, I saw this question quite a bit yesterday after the blog post released. We only have the 8 single raid encounters so far in quick play. A lot of people were curious about, the new raid encounter that's coming with QR1 that we might have a little bit of a teaser for in a minute. Why that's not included in quick play. The main thing is just that it didn't really make sense for a new encounter that's brand new in the game that hasn't been tested on live yet. Obviously, we've done a lot of internal play testing, but as we've mentioned in the past, it's not always they're not always conducive to one another. So we want to make sure that gets out there.
Which is the same reason that they have said that they don't release challenge mode on day 1 when the normal mode comes out. Because sometimes, like in the first week of a normal mode encounter that's brand new being out, they find a bunch of problems with it. And then they want to fix those before the challenge mode comes out, which is even more complicated.
See how players react to it before we potentially put it in. But we are making considerations for raid quick play in general. How that system works, what we're planning on doing with the future. We're not, ready to, say, what we're planning to do with it yet. Or lock in anything your future plans for it, but we are definitely considering updates for it and what we might want to do with that and how the future of this feature looks.
Yeah, we're leaving the door open to it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think that is going to mostly wrap it up. Kind of a short and sweet stream. Nothing too crazy. Again, kind of a lot of what was in the blog post yesterday, a little bit more in depth. I'm super excited about the new UI. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think I don't raid every week, but I do raid it often enough that I can see this is going to be a huge update, a huge benefit to it. Hopefully the new rewards as well are going to encourage maybe some new players or some longtime raiders to continue to raid. But yeah, as always, we will be checking out feedback from folks on the various feedback sources. So make sure, if you see something in the stream that you have a question about or you have feedback on, to post it. Obviously, once the release comes out as well, we'll be taking a look at feedback. Thank you so much for coming out and streaming. Sorry, Tim.
I'm really excited to have players get their hands on it. It feels night and day, like testing in here versus trying to go into the raids in live. So
I think you did a fantastic job, and everyone, all the people behind the scenes who worked on these features did a fantastic job. Super excited about the leaderboard, super excited about the UI in general. So, yeah, thank you so much, Tim. Any final words?
I think that's
your final words.
Yeah.
But yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for coming out and watching the stream and hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, we'll see you in the mists.
All right, so crab teaser time. Did they accidentally restart the video? Oh, no, it's just a loop. Okay. Okay. They could have just done it once. Oh, 3 crabs? Yes. Oh my god, yeah. It's 3 phases. 1 crab per phase. That's right. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Something that has come to mind. The new legendary ring. We know that a legendary ring is coming out in the same patch. We don't know what it's going to involve. We know the graphic for the ring has little itty bitty crabs around your feet and sandcastles, and they're doing like the crab rave dance. I wonder, just because there's a new crab being added to raids, if the new legendary ring is going to involve doing the quick play raid system. In the same way that the legendary glove Acacia was related to quick play fractals. So right now, I'm thinking 2 thoughts. Thought 1, we're going to have to do quick play raids to get the new ring. Thought 2 is going to be, it's an open world thing. But it's being added in a patch that doesn't add a new map. So if it is an open world thing, it's only going to involve currencies from Shipwreck Strand and Starlit Weald. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so... It's that time. It is TLDR time. All right, so for all the folks who skip the whole video and they just want a TLDR spoon-fed to them, I'm going to do my very best. I just watched the whole thing, took notes, here we go. So first off, in the upcoming update, they are adding a raid/strike merge. So strikes will henceforth be called raid encounters as far as the game is concerned, and there will be a group finder where you can choose to join a raid or what is previously known as a strike boss from the group finder. You can choose the boss you start at. So as you can see right here, you could choose, like he's got Spirit Veil selected. You could just be like, I want to go to the final boss. And you just boop, and it'll put you at the entrance, but there will be the teleporter thing next to you that the veterans are already aware of. And you can use that and just teleport straight to the last boss, and everything's cleared up to that point. The new raid, at one point in this video, he scrolled down to the bottom for a second, and there was a thing on there called Guardian's Glade. I am guessing Guardian's Glade is the name of the new raid, and the boss is going to be a giant crab. Next thing, the classic raid portals. So right now, let me see if I can back it up. So in the Aerodrome, you got the big portal. You go there, you can queue for any raid you want. The classic raid portals that already were there in the past, you can go up to them. They have added the same functionality, but each portal just shows for that raid wing. So most people are probably going to use the big red portal. There will be checkboxes on the raid UI showing you already got loot from this guy this week. You can still go. You can still, if you really like just beating up Deimos and saying, where's my money? You can do it as many times as you want. But it will only give you those big rewards 1 time per week. Checkboxes will make it very easy to see which ones you've already done that reset. The rest of the squad does not have to be in the Aerodrome to join. They will get a pop-up even if they are on other maps. So if one person goes to the Aerodrome, queues for raid, and the rest of the squad is all over the world, as long as they're not in a loading screen right at that point in time, they're going to get a pop-up saying, hey, do you want to join your group in this raid? And they can go. So that's kind of cool. Wasn't expecting that feature. At 1841, they show this. This is in Mistlock Sanctuary. On the corner of a building, there's a thing called the Raid Rally Point. And basically, they're adding these to all of the VIP lounges and a few other major hubs. And you can interact with them and queue for raids from there. Excuse me. And so this is another way of accessing the giant red portal without traveling to the aerodrome. And reminder, only the squad leader has to do this, and everyone else gets pulled along for the ride no matter where they are. You can queue for another raid while already in a raid. So what that means is if you're in a raid and you guys just finished killing, I don't know, you just finished clearing Raid Wing 1 and now you want to do Raid Wing 2, one of the people in the group can click on a icon that is down near the Leave Instance button, and they can say, it'll open up this menu again. You can choose another boss, go there, and then the rest of your group can right-click on you here and say join in the other instance, and they can hop over to your new instance. So you will only, like, you don't have to loading screen out of the raid and then loading screen into the new raid. You could just go from your old raid to your new raid in one jump, which is, again, nice. Profit shards, which were from strike missions, that is the currency reward from strike missions, you would spend those at strike mission vendors for Mystic Clovers, Ascended Gear, things like that, will become magnetite shards. Magnetite shards is the currency from raids. So the raid and strike current currencies are just going to become one currency after the patch hits, and that one currency is magnetite shards. They are raising the weekly cap of how many magnetite shards you can earn each week from 300 to 800, because there will be many more ways to obtain them now, and you'll also get more for some bosses, and you get more for some achievements, and you get more for doing challenge modes. Every raid boss has been given a technical value between 1 and 5 based on its difficulty. The bosses will give you magnetite between 8 and 16. If you're doing it on CM, you'll get an additional 10, is my understanding. Their wording was kind of tripping me up on this, but as I understand it, like the easiest raid bosses give you 8, the toughest ones will give you 16. If you're doing challenge mode, add 10 to it. Random tip here, Keep Construct is the easiest of any raid challenge mode. If you're fighting him, he's in a round room. When you turn on the challenge mode, basically the room shrinks just a tiny bit. The outer edge becomes a damage field that'll hurt you, and you have like 5%, maybe 10% less floor space to use. That's it. It's the easiest challenge mode in the game. If you're going to kill Keep Construct anyway, highly encourage you to flip that switch, turn it on. You're going to get an extra 10 magnetite. Legendary Insights from raid bosses and strike bosses, aka raid encounters. So Legendary Insights, or LI, typically anytime you would kill a raid boss from Wings 1 through 4, you would get a LI. You will now also get them from the strike bosses. So that means that, like, if you are doing the Bone Skinner and the Twin Polar Bears, you're going to get LIs from those. So one of the most time-consuming steps of doing raid legendary armor is getting 25 LI per piece of armor. That just got a whole lot faster, because now there are a lot more ways to get LI than there used to be. So that is pretty cool. Also, Coalescence, the legendary ring from raids that's already in the game. There's a step of it that requires a bunch of LI. That step just got easier to do. Daily strike rewards are now weekly. This is probably the only part of this broadcast that I'm sad about. It hasn't been lately, but there was a good year or two in Guild Wars 2 where I was doing strikes every day because I just think they're freaking fun. And they are making it to where the rewards you get for killing strike bosses, such as the Icebird Saga ones, you get that big collection of rewards once a week instead of once a day. But there are now daily raid bounty achievements where 4 bosses from raids will have bonus rewards. Those bonuses have LI in them. So you could get 4 bonus LI per day, 7 days a week. That's another 28 LI potentially you could get. Now, I imagine you wouldn't want all of them. Let's say you're just a middle of the road level player. You're not terrible. You're not exceptional either. And it's like, okay, the bounty today is, the Twin Polar Bear Strike. You're like, cool, I'm gonna do that. And then it's like Freyneir, and it's like easy. And then it's like Kadim the Peerless. You're like, maybe rain check on him. So like there will sometimes be days where the bounty might be on a really freaking hard boss, and you're like, maybe not. And then you just move on to the next thing. But up to 28 bonus LI can be earned from this bounty thing each week. And the bounties can be on existing raid bosses or raid encounters previously called strike bosses, as I understand it. There's a new thing called the Raid God achievement. which will be a big sink for currencies if you're a veteran player with a ton saved up and you need something to do. They said it's similar to Fractal God. However, what I don't yet know is Fractal God is... It's not only a title on your character, it's also a buff. Hold on, quick pause. Loranity, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you. I'm putting together a TLDR for the people who are watching this in the future, for the YouTube crowd. I made some notes while we were watching the video. I think you just watched it as well. Thank you very much. So they mentioned the Fractal God achievement, and they said it was like the... Or sorry, they mentioned the Raid God achievement. They said it was like Fractal God, but the Fractal God achievement gives you both the title and a buff in Fractals. I don't know if Raid God gives you a buff in raids or if it's just a title to show off. I do not know at this time. They then showed a vendor that has... Let me see if I can find it here. Skip. It's oh, here we go. So they showed this vendor with some very expensive stuff on here. I will try to zoom in. Infinite utility and metabolic primers. 250 Li, 5,000 magnetite each. If you are new to the game, these can be used to extend the duration of enhancement or food buffs.
Welcome to Japan, kids.
That's a patron?
It's time for tentacles.
I never said that. So, like, if you use the metabolic primer, then you eat a really expensive, like, ascended food, it will last for 12 hours instead of 30 minutes or something. So these are very useful. Again, they are meant to be sinks for people who have already gotten everything they need in the game. This is something extra to work toward. Also, though, worth noting, they take 50 magnetite shards each time you use them, which then gives you 12 hours of the buff. So it's not only a sink to buy it, it's a constant sink after that. Now, if you consistently enjoy doing raids, this is going to be something you never have to think about. Because again, you can get up to 800 magnetite a week, and then 50 puts the buff on your character for 12 hours. But some people are just going to be like, I'm just going to use the normal primers. You can also see there's a whole bunch of other stuff here, hideouts and banners and things for your homesteads and guild halls and things like that. Let's see. The Mystic Clovers that were on the Prophet Shard Merchant from Strikes were added to the Mystic Clovers you could buy from the raid vendor. So I don't know the exact number, but let's say you could get 5 clovers from Strikes and 5 from raids. Now it's just 10 from raids, and they all cost magnetite. So it's all been merged together. But again, I made up those numbers for an example. I don't know the exact count. Let's see. Another sync that they added to the game for people who have gotten everything they want is this thing. There is a box here. Hold on a sec. The Glorious Raiders Cache. 50 Li, 1,000 magnetite that you can buy. And is that in-game hours? Yes, that's in-game hours. So if you log out, it pauses the countdown. This cache, as you can see, has a whole like Generation 1 precursors. It has these, I believe, are ascended chests. I think these right here are ascended chests. These are ascended, I think, ascended weapon chests, ascended armor chests. That's a frost saw from Dragonstorm. I don't know what that is at a glance. And we got infusions. The dragon eyes from Dragonstorm that can make one of your eyes glow red or blue flame. Your choice. We got shock, we got confetti, and a whole bunch of others here. So this is kind of like a gamble thing. If you just got tons of currency and you want to burn it, you can gamble on stuff. Let's see, 3246 was the next timestamp. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's a new tab for achievements called Raid General Achievements for achievements that don't really fit in any one specific raid. And in here, there's the Raid God, for example. And there is an infallible title, which is to do all raid wings without going downstate, which gives me PTSD of trying to get the Undying and the Immortal with my raid in Wrath of the Lich King. So there's some challenging things in here to work toward if you fancy it. I will say for Infallible, there's a checkbox after each wing. So I think like if you clear raid wing 1 without dying, that gets checked off. It's not like you have to do it all in one go. But just each wing is a checkbox. Let's see. Okay, 3344. So there are some new rewards added to challenge mode Twin Largos, Deimos, and Doom. The challenge modes of those. The Twin Largos one drops a combat tonic to look like a Twin Largo. So if you've ever wanted the hot blue thighs, this is your chance. The one for... Oh, and there's male and female tonics. but everyone's going to pick the one with the blue thighs. And if you get the Doom one, it's a Doom infusion, which is around your feet. And you can sort of see this red crackling going on there. And then there is also, let me see if he does it. The Doom one is the Doom Sky skill. So those three things drop from the challenge modes. Now, you can farm for them. Those, Deimos, oh, I don't know what I said. The second one was Deimos. It was Twin Largos, then Deimos, then Doom. I apologize if I misspoke. You can farm for these. So even if you've, like, you kill Doom CM, you got your weekly loot, you can just do it again and again and again and again and again to try to farm for the Sky Scale skin if you wish to do that. It will allow you to do that. It will roll the dice to drop it every time you try to get it. Okay. One thing that I noticed here, when he was doing this, let me see if I can find the exact moment here. Hold on. There is a moment where he goes in here and he puts the infusion on and he's trying to show it off, but the little sand is from the new legendary ring. And he goes, oh, hold on, let me turn the ring off. And oh, it's so quick. It's so quick. Just a minute. Just a minute. Enhance. Enhance. Okay. Here's the new legendary ring that we haven't seen yet. And we also do not yet know the method of. Unlocked 2 in Legendary Armory. It's not unique. Currently in game, Coalescence, the legendary ring from raids, is unique. You can only obtain one. You can only put one in your Legendary Armory. Conflux, because it's the TLDRs, the World v World Raiders cried a lot. Conflux can be gained twice. It is not unique. This ring is also not unique. Now I have two theories on where this ring is going to come from. One is the new quick play game mode for raids, raid quick play, similar to how we just got the Acacia gloves from Fractal quick play. My second idea for this is that it's going to come from open world stuff, but it's going to be in a content patch that doesn't add a new map. So it would only be open world stuff related to Starlit Weald and I'm having a total brain fart here. Shipwreck Strand. It would just be involving materials from those two zones. I don't know which it is, but what I can tell you is looking at this, it's not unique. So that's a bit of information that we did not have before. Okay, sure. Let's see. I covered that. Raid quick play. Now, reminder that raid quick play is just when you queue and you're just like, I want to join a random group for quick play. And there are certain bosses that are in quick play. There is no roll queue. It will not ask if you're a healer or a tank or if you're quickness or if you're alacrity. It just goes, here's 10 idiots, go. And you get in there and you're like, oh God, they're all elementalists. You know, whatever. You're with the dregs at that point. While you are in quick play, you can queue as a solo player or as a pre-made. Everyone will get a buff to make up for the fact that they are not checking group composition at all. And to show the buff, hang on a second, I wrote down a timestamp. This is it. Quick play morale. Raid quick play. While in quick play raid, you gain the following bonus effects. Gain additional combat stats and lifesteal from enemies as you deal damage. You take significantly reduced damage. This damage reduction is higher when you are at low health. You may also resurrect defeated players. By default, you can resurrect a dead player, even if you're in combat in Fractals or Open World. It just takes a long time, but you cannot do it in 10-man content until this. So in quick play raids, you can work together to full res someone who full died if you wish to. But it's possible, you know, you queue for quick play raid, you might not have quickness, you might not have alacrity, you might be missing boons, but this thing is meant to be a kind of a band-aid. If you have those boons and this, you're going to be pretty insane. Let's see. Magnetite shard rewards are reduced by 50% in quick play. So if you were going to get 10 shards from a boss, you'll get 5 instead. There are weekly quick play raid rewards, including equipment from the quick play bosses and 6 more LI. So there is an achievement that is just basically like do a bunch of quick play stuff, and every few quick plays you do, you get like another tier on the achievement, and you'll either get a loot box that has a random item that can drop from any of the bosses currently in the quick play pool, or you'll get some more LI. And if you get all of the stuff, it's a bunch of chests and 6 LI total. Raid Quick Play Frequenter is a new achievement that gives the new relics that are coming out. But if you really don't want to do raids, there will be alternative ways to get these. The Frequenter, I believe it's every 3 quick play raids, raid bosses that you kill, you get another relic until you get all the relics, if you wish to do that. And I think that's it. That is all my notes. So that is the TLDR for this entire broadcast. If you've got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, or if you want to add anything that I missed, put it in the comment section down below. If you watch the TLDR and you still have questions, watch the freaking video. I did my best. There's no pleasing you.